Leaving behind the mystical world of circus and fairground objects, Drew's keen to try his luck 300 miles southwest, near Totnes, where he's tracked down a dealer with an eclectic mix of interests.
Right, so today, team, we're off to meet a guy called Simon Gilboy, and he produces furniture wax. But he used to be an antique dealer and restorer, so he has some stock to get rid of as well, because I think the wax is taking over the business. And also, it's going to be nice to meet the man behind the wax.
That's the worst Bond movie ever.
The spy who waxed me.
Named in the 12th century as the landing spot of the mythical founder of Britain, Brutus of Troy, Totnes' position on the estuary of the River Dart has made it an important market town for many centuries. Today, just next to the heritage South Devon railway line, which once enabled transport of coal, wool and cider to the rest of the UK, it's home to a world-renowned beeswax polish business, run by former furniture restorer Simon Gilboy.
I was 16, I didn't know what I was going to do, and my dad said, "I've got you a job," and I didn't have much choice. And I did a 5-year apprenticeship in French polishing. French polishing led on to me dealing with antiques, because people were bringing me antiques. I kept on being asked what was the best polish to look after your furniture, and I thought, I'm going to create our own beeswax polish. But there are bits and pieces I've had for years and years that Drew might be interested in, because it's not really our thing anymore. He might like rooting around in here and seeing if there's something that catches his eye.
So,
hi, Drew. Hi, T. Are you all right?
Yeah, good, good, good.
Welcome.
Keen to get in and have a look.
Come and have a look.
Right then. Ooh, OK.
So this is where we used to do the restoration work, but now this is where we make the beeswax polish.
This is, for me, this is really good to see, because it's a natural evolution. So, a restorer, gone in, time served, can't find the right products, makes the right product.
It's really lucky that we've got it right, and the reviews we get are incredible.
I like things to show their age, but you want them to be, they have to be clean and usable as well. And a wax finish to them is what was on them first. This oil wax finish, that was on them originally, and it adds value. You're polishing money into the job.
So, I mean, you've got some of the bits over here. Can you show us how it's made?
That's the beeswax. The beeswax is where the honey is kept, is the cell structure of it. So it's the honeycomb.
So what's that in there?
So that in there, that's just a glass beaker, and this is going to stir. It's a little magnetized, or a little magnet that will sit on top of there. And in a minute, when I switch it on.
OK. Look at that, I like that.
So that's a hot plate, and that's our little stirrer. And obviously, we have this on a larger scale. Then we have beeswax that would go in. We'll turn off that stirrer for a minute, because we've got to wait for that to melt, but we've got to get that up to temperature. So we'd go in.
Simon's secret formula includes other natural waxes, such as that produced by the Brazilian carnauba palm, which adds toughness.
This is miracle wax that we're going to add in here. That comes from the Andes.
That comes from the Andes.
From the Andes.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah, so we have pure turpentine, and then we have a little bit of this tiny drop of oil, just not too much, will go in.
He's refined this down to a fine art of knowing exactly which waxes from exactly which country he puts in the different amounts to get the correct wax for these types of finishes.
That's the difference. So that's a dry, old finish, and that is one application of the wax. That's what one application does.
You couldn't give this to a scientist in a lab, because they wouldn't really know the finish you'd need on a George III side table or a Chippendale period armchair. They wouldn't know what you'd want. But Simon does.
You have got some stuff for us to have a look at. Well,
there is, yeah, there is. So go have a look.
This is fascinating.
Thank
good
you.
on you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Really good on you.
Thank you.
OK, so you've got the sort of remnants of the antique stock.
Yeah, so this is the remnants of antiques in here.
OK, so you've got this metamorphic surfing table.
Gillows, wearing in gillows.
marked up.
Yep, it's all fully marked. Underneath, right underneath, is the marking.
Look, it does this lovely thing, watch. That's it. Isn't that nice? It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
I start to spot a couple of things that are really interesting. One is a metamorphic table. So if you lift the top, the top lifts off and becomes one tier, the middle section becomes another tier, and the base drops down and becomes another tier. They are a useful piece of furniture, and this one's got the added bonus of being made by Gillows.
The Buccaneer Room at London's Carlisle Club was just one of many prestigious projects commissioned to Waring and Gillow, which for over 150 years supplied furniture to the richest homes in Britain. The roots of the company's success lay in the 1730s, when Lancastrian joiner Robert Gillow spotted an opportunity in mahogany imported from the West Indies. With its impressive engineering, this serving table, dating from around 1835, could be worth around £800.
I sort of half like it. It's really going to come down to just how painful is it going to be for you to let it go.
Well, I mean, £700. I mean, it's for a Gillows.
I know. I'm just not feeling. I'm not feeling 700 quid.
On the hunt for a mix of diverse and unusual objects, Drew and T have travelled all the way to South Devon to meet a former dealer who's mixing up more than antiques.
This is Miracle Wax that we're going to add in here. That comes from the Andes.
That comes from the Andes.
It's from the Andes.
And in the workshop, Drew's got his work cut out, bargaining for a three-tier Waring and Gillow serving table.
Well, I mean, £700. I mean, it's for a Gillows.
I know. I'm just not feeling. I'm not feeling 700 quid. 500 quid.
I need to sell, so yes, deal.
Sure?
Yeah, I think it needs to go.
Thank you very much. I think that's
you.
about right.
I think that's fair. So yes.
Look at it and I think, I don't want to pay any more than 500 quid for it, because it's a little bit of a plain Jane. It's not very exciting, but I can't ignore the quality. And yep, he goes for it, £500. Fantastic.
There's a couple of other things I have my eye on. Number one's that I've just seen when I was sat down there. What's this about? W.D. Duffin, Gradison Road, West Side, Clapham Common. Title of picture, Auditorium 15. Price in guineas, 15 guineas. That's really, really good.
If you look at it from a distance, can you see the conductor here?
Yeah.
And there's his orchestra.
That's really nice.
Loads of paintings here, and then one really strikes me, and it's an Impressionist oil on canvas, and it's called Auditorium. Love it. If you just narrow your eyes slightly and seal those faces, you can hear the music, and it conveys it just by one man doing that on a very small canvas. Brilliant.
It turns out this unusual piece of artwork is the property of one of Simon's former restorers.
Can we get him on the phone and talk about that? Because I really like that.
Yeah.
I've given the game away, but when it comes to things like that, I really like it.
Yeah. Looking at the Impressionist painting of the conductor with the auditorium that you had in here, the little small one. All right, thank you. OK, 500.
So he's giving you some parameters. How about 4?
Fine.
Sold.
Yes.
I'll have it. That's great. I really like that a lot.
I always do well on art. I really like buying art. It's my favourite thing to buy above everything. It's lovely. It's a clever little thing. I like it a lot.
OK, so what else have we got here?
Right.
These. Tell me about these.
Those are, I think, cashier's lights that would fit above the top of a cashier's desk in a bank.
So we've had a good look round and then spot 2 little lights. Bronze wall-mounted downlighters. These light fittings come from a time when people were really proud of their shops. And banks were wonderful, stately homes that you would walk into. They come from a different age of style and quality.
What do you want for those? They're lovely.
£100 for the pair?
Sold, sir. Marvellous. Yeah, I'll take those.
They're very handy piece of lighting, these. They'll solve a problem. Lighting a doorway in a house, particularly in an old period house, can be very difficult. Those would be ideal for them. Use them as downlighters maybe over a pair of paintings or mirrors as well.
There was one thing that I was really interested in, this specimen table. That there, do you know what? I've got the matching one.
Have you?
I've got exactly the same one, and it's got all the same issues that this one has.
The legs just...
You've got another issue that mine didn't have. What are you charging for this top, then?
Yeah, charge with the top.
Playing contrasting specimen samples of Indian timbers, including the incredibly rare Coromandel, a richly patterned form of ebony. It could be worth around £1,500.
Well, give me a clue. What do you want?
I don't know. I don't know what, £200? I don't know. What would you? 180, 200?
No, I'll give you 200 quid for it.
200
Yeah,
pounds?
that's fine. I mean, they're quite valuable when they're done.
Yeah, when they're done.
We get it for the bargain price of a couple of £100. It's going to cost me about 400 to do it properly. New carved under gallery, under tier, and that needs doing, the leg needs putting back on, then the whole thing cleaning. And we'll give it a nice coat of wax too.
What I've walked away with today, a wonderful 19th century specimen table. Great, needs restoration, but really good once we've done the work to it. And that fabulous painting. I think the painting's my favourite thing today. And also, we met Simon and saw hands-on what he does. All round a great day here at Gilboy's.
It was great showing him the waxes. It was lovely to see his enthusiasm for our polishes, but also selling some furniture, do some good old-fashioned dealing. I'm sure I could have got more money for some of it, but it was nice. We need the room, and you know, some of these pieces just needed selling on, and Drew's the man for it. It's been good fun.
Sorted? Yeah. Cool, Dan. Marvellous. Simon, thank you so much.
It's been a great day, thank you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good luck to you. We'll
Thank
be in
you ever
touch
so much.
for more wax.
More wax.
All right,
Thank
see
you.
you.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Right then, there you go. So how was that? You enjoy that?
That was fantastic.
Gilboy's? He's doing a good thing. He's doing a good thing for our business.
It's good to hear you wax lyrical about his work as
I
well.
was wondering when this was going to start. He did put a shine on the day, didn't he?
Yeah, there was no shine taken off.
Oh, God. Right, can we
Yeah,
finish with
it's
those?
out of the system now.
Good, good.
To find out more about the Anglo-Indian specimen table Drew bought in Devon, Rebecca's visiting the collection of 18th century curiosities at Burton Constable Hall, near Hull, with curator Philippa Wood.
Philippa, this is beautiful, but it doesn't look anything similar to Drew's specimen table.
No, well, specimen tables are as varied as the materials that make them. So they all have a very similar purpose. Each and every one of these little squares is a specimen of a type of marble. What people would do is they would go on a grand tour in the 1800s, and they would go to all of these different places around Europe, and they would collect pieces like this. Each and every one of these pieces would have come from a different quarry, a different area of interest, sometimes even from historic buildings if it had been reclaimed or recycled. And they would all be collected together in one massive table. And when they brought that table back here, it would show off to their friends where they'd been, and it would give an idea that they were interested in science and art.
It's a better way of displaying your knowledge, your interests, and you've got something functional, not just knickknacks hidden in a beautiful cabinet.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about, isn't
Yes.
it?
No, it really is.
Philippa, that's fascinating. Drew's table is in a sort of much more simple form. I mean, we're thinking from the style of the base that it could be Indian.
Yes, Indian sounds quite possible. So each and every one of these triangles is a different type of wood, obviously, whereas we have a different square for each quarry, each different type of stone. All of these are representing a different type of tree that people might have seen in their travels.
This was a time when travel was only just opening up. It was only just sort of feasible. So for somebody to return from their adventures with that and putting that in their front room,
It would have been amazingly exotic, and it would definitely have been a status symbol.
then. Ooh, OK.
So this is where we used to do the restoration work, but now this is where we make the beeswax polish.
This is, for me, this is really good to see because it's a natural evolution. So, a restorer, gone in, time served, can't find the right products, makes the right product.
It's really lucky that we've got it right, and the reviews we get are incredible.
I like things to show their age, but you want them to be, they have to be clean and usable as well. And a wax finish to them is what was on them first, this oil wax finish. That was on them originally, and it adds value. You're polishing money into the job.
So, I mean, you've got some of the bits over here. Can you show us how it's made?
That's the beeswax. The beeswax is where the honey is kept, is the cell structure of it. So it's the honeycomb.
So what's that in there?
So that in there, that's just a glass beaker, and this is going to stir. It's a little magnetized, a little magnet that will sit on top of there. And in a minute, when I switch it on.
OK. Look at that, I like that.
So that's a hot plate, and that's our little stirrer. And obviously, we have this on a larger scale. Then we have beeswax that would go in. We'll turn off that stirrer for a minute because we've got to wait for that to melt, but we've got to get that up to temperature. So we'd go in.
Simon's secret formula includes other natural waxes, such as that produced by the Brazilian carnauba palm, which adds toughness.
This is miracle wax that we're going to add in here. That comes from the Andes.
That comes from the Andes.
This is from the Andes.
This is where the magic happens.
Yeah, so we have pure turpentine, and then we have a little bit of this tiny
Bit of
drop
oil.
of oil, just not too much, will go in.
He's refined this down to a fine art of knowing exactly which waxes from exactly which country he puts in the different amounts to get the correct wax for these types of finishes.
That's the difference. So that's a dry, old finish, and that is one application.